Well, the snow, it came and it went, but now we have an Arctic cold front coming in and temperatures are going to absolutely crater tonight. I'll have a complete forecast straight ahead. Karen?
All right, Paul, also first at 4, Wixom police investigate the death of a 4-year-old boy. We're going to talk about an arrest and why new charges could be coming. President Biden makes new moves against Russia. His message to Vladimir Putin and why the president says he must be stopped. And here's Paula.
The Help Wanted sign is up in historic Idlewild, Michigan, and an NFL player invests and is looking to build his own team.
Get involved with my network and my circle and who I develop my people with.
It's something to crow about, and only we have the details.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, Wixom police are investigating the death of a 4-year-old boy, and they've already made an arrest. It all started last Saturday when police and fire were called to Beechwood Street to help that little boy who was reportedly unconscious with shallow breathing. Responders found Jace DuPont seemed to have life-threatening injuries to his skull as they tried to save him. Police arrested the only adult with the boy at the time, 30-year-old D'Angelo Hawkins. He has been charged with 1 count of first-degree child abuse and is being held on $1 million bond. In spite of that life-saving treatment, the 4-year-old died from his injuries yesterday. Prosecutors will now consider new charges in the case. New at 6, what comes next in the investigation and what we're learning about previous troubles in Hawkins' past. Investigators are looking for answers tonight after the death of an officer with the Detroit Public Schools Community District. Some of the events leading up to his death are caught on camera. Home security video showing the big fight that broke out on Detroit's west side, a block away from Henry Ford High School. Officer Frederick Wilson responded, was seriously injured and later died. His cause of death is unknown, and the school district says there's no evidence a weapon was involved. Wilson was with the school district for 20 years. Superintendent Nikolai Vitti is cautioning against a rush to judgment until the investigation is complete. The state just set out the latest numbers on the coronavirus here in Michigan. It's recorded another 1,800 cases in the past 2 days, with a daily average of about 910. The 7-day positivity rate is still under 4%, the lowest it's been since July of 2021. Thanks to numbers like that, the state is tweaking its quarantine guidelines. State says if you test positive, it's no longer necessary to quarantine for 10 days. New guidance suggests you isolate for 5 days. Then if symptoms improve, you can leave home if you are wearing a well-fitted face mask for another 5 days. You can read more specific guidance for different scenarios at clickondetroit.com. We've also have a disturbing update on a small fire at a really popular deli in Detroit's Corktown. We told you about that fire at Mudgie's over on Porter Street yesterday. Well, hours later, the Detroit Fire Department revealed it blames arson outside the restaurant for the fire. We're told most of the damage was in the wine shop and the deli's prep kitchen was destroyed. Right now, Mudgie's is doing takeout and does plan to be open for Sunday's St. Patrick's Day parade. Have any of you received your auto insurance refunds yet? Today, Governor Whitmer confirms the transfer of $3 billion back to drivers has begun. The money comes from a surplus at the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association. Eligible Michigan drivers will receive $400 per vehicle. Anyone with a car, motorcycle, or RV that was insured on October 31st of 2021 is considered eligible. Auto insurance companies must send out refund checks or deposits as soon as possible and no later than May 9th. All right, in today's first forecast, it looks like the snow is gone, but more bitter cold just moving on in. Meteorologist Paul Gross shows us how the weather will affect your weekend plans. Paul.
Yes, and right now, at least the good news here, we are dry here in Storm Tracker 4. The overnight and morning snow off to our east. So let's do a little 4-zone weather, shall we? We'll start off in the metro zone, where it's generally low to mid 30s. You can see, though, 30 at West Bloomfield, 32 at Troy. Livonia, you're at 33. Canton, you're at 31. Taylor at 34 degrees. Mount Clemens, you're at 32. Now, in our south zone, a little bit farther away from the urban part of the area, it's generally low 30s here, 31 over Deerfield, 32 at Dundee, 31 at Saline. In our west zone, from 30s here in Washtenaw County up to 20s here. Milford, you're at 27. Howell, you're at 28 degrees. And then in our north zone, it's basically almost all 20s here. We do have 30 at Port Huron, 30 at Romeo, but most of the rest of us are in the mid to upper 20s. 26, the cool spot at Sandusky. And through the evening, fairly quiet. until that Arctic front comes through. Temperatures initially slow to fall, then cratering after this. I'll be back with those specifics in just a few, Karen.
If you were watching Local 4 this morning, you may have seen President Joe Biden rolling out a new punishment for Russia. It comes as Vladimir Putin's troops widen their offensive against Ukraine. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom tracking today's very latest developments. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is now in its 16th day, and new cities are being targeted as well. New soldiers are apparently being recruited, and there's a worldwide battle over disinformation coming out of Russia. Russia has started to widen its offensive. It's targeting more urban areas, including the eastern city of Dnipro, which is a major industrial hub and Ukraine's fourth largest city. New video shows the smoke and damage to that city. Also today, Russian President Vladimir Putin met with the leader of Belarus. Putin claims there are positive developments in peace talks, but not enough to stop the war. And Putin has said he'll accept volunteer fighters from the Middle East, particularly from his old ally, Syria. Today, President Biden took another swipe at the Russian economy. The U.S. and its allies will revoke Russia's what's called most favored nation status when it comes to trade.
Putin is an aggressor. He is the aggressor, and Putin must pay the price. He cannot pursue a war that threatens the very foundations, which he's doing, the very foundations of international peace and stability, and then ask for financial help from the international community.
The United States is also accusing Russia of spreading false allegations about so-called American biological activities in Ukraine without any evidence. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the claims worry him because Russia often does what it claims others are doing. More to come tonight at 5 and on NBC Nightly News at 6:30. But for now, Karen, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
Texas abortion providers say a new court ruling will pretty much end their battle against the nation's most restrictive abortion law. Today, the Texas Supreme Court rejected a suit challenging that law known as Senate Bill 8. The law prohibits abortion after a heartbeat is heard, usually around 6 to 8 weeks of pregnancy when many women may not know that they're pregnant. The laws also allow private citizens to enforce the ban through lawsuits against anyone who aids and abets an abortion. Abortions in Texas have dropped by 50% since the law took effect. U.S. Supreme Court is still considering a Mississippi case that could be used to roll back Roe versus Wade later this year. Lots of excitement surrounds Idlewild, Michigan as spring approaches. We've been following the progress of the historic Black community as many people work to keep its history alive while also rebuilding its legacy. Paula Tutman shows us what's happening on the road to revival.
Nestled in a snowbank in Idlewild, Michigan, what used to be the Red Rooster Bar and Restaurant. There's a promise waiting to be fulfilled at this precise longitude and latitude. It's called Comeback, and that promise is being waged by a comeback kid himself. Detroit-born football star Devin Funches, Michigan standout who played with Carolina, the Colts, and the Packers. Today, he's a free agent and is coming back, and he wants to bring the historic Black resort community Idlewild with him.
Some of my family members go up there all the time. It's the first Black resort town, and it was a bar, the Red Rooster. It was up for sale.
And so last year, he purchased it.
Used my popularity with what I do in my job to bring awareness to the community.
Idlewild is famous. It was called Black Eden as one of the only places in Michigan in the early 1900s to the 1960s where Blacks could purchase property. And they did. It was the hotspot for African Americans, top-tier entertainers with an exciting vibe that largely melted away when legalized discrimination ended.
The Red Rooster was kind of like a Cheers type of restaurant bar.
Linda D. McClure and Monet McClure Rab are daughter and granddaughter of the original owners of the Red Rooster, and they fought to keep the restaurant and the history alive during COVID.
It got to a point where with a small business, we just couldn't hold on any longer.
They shut down only to realize waiting on the sidelines was Devin Funches, who wanted to invest himself and his young daughter into the history of Idlewild.
I wanted to make sure that when we passed the torch, it was going to be to someone that would honor that legacy and invest in that legacy and make it bigger and better.
Liquor license, check. Refurbishments, check. Ready to go, not check. Funches who has renamed the establishment Peyton Place after his daughter, says he's ready to open except for one pretty important piece. He can't find staff. But he promises an incredible opportunity for a young chef to make their mark on history, to develop their own menu and run their own kitchen. He's looking for a bright, innovative general manager to reignite the spark. And of course, staff who want to be part of the next generation of Idlewild.
Get involved with my network and my circle and who I develop my people with.
We can't wait to sit at the bar and look around and see what he has created.
You know, there's so many exciting things going on in Idlewild right now. Keep in mind, Ferris State University is right there. Gotta be a graduating senior looking for their first big start. They want to work for an NFL team or be part of a team player like that. We're going to put information on our website, clickondetroit.com, so that you can connect directly with Devin and his team if you're interested in working for his restaurant. Karen?
Love this story. Paula, thank you so much for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.